Hi, everyone. The past few days have been some of the worst of my life, and I'm not sure exactly what to think or do. This is my most memorable time posting on here, so if it's not too much trouble, hold on for me each time I recollect the second. I got him with my closest companion, who I've known since we were youngsters. I need to actually ward off the desire to upchuck. In some cases, the strain on my chest will be too much that it damages to relax. I haven't eaten. I've scarcely rested. I've needed to involve a couple of individual days, these beyond couple of days, as I couldn't in fact understand escaping my bed, not to mention heading into work. I, 24, have had no great explanation to trust that my sweetheart, 26, could at any point do this to me, deceive me, embarrass me like this. I met my sweetheart when I was an undergrad, my first year. He was 2 years into his science certification. We met at a party that his brotherhood was facilitating. We've been really indivisible since he previously asked me out. He is my closest companion, my individual. We have the sort of closeness that you don't get with a lot of individuals in a lifetime, and I've continually needed to squeeze myself all through my relationship each time I check his attractive face. He's the sort of man that would request that I slow dance in our kitchen to my numero, John Mayer melody. I would frequently mess with him at whatever point he would return home. Indeed, we share a loft together from the exercise center or work somewhat later than expected, and inquire as to whether he'd been out mind-blowingly another young lady. I would ask how the sex was, and assuming she was superior to me. Be that as it may, these discussions were generally in great tomfoolery, never serious. We would constantly wind up ignoring it, because the possibility of him each wandering is such a long ways from the real truth. He's continually consoling me that I don't have anything to stress over, that he adores me so profoundly, he picks me regular, and that he would get it inked on his skin, assuming it implied that much to me. Clearly, I let him know he would do nothing of the sort. He truly is all that I might at any point need in an accomplice. He was my beginning, which makes what happened all the seriously sickening. This previous Saturday, I was called into work. I'm a medical caretaker, however, am simply beginning at this spot, so it is exceptionally common for somebody in my situation to begin on standby. A shared companion of my beau and I was setting up birthday celebration out on his lake house and asked my sweetheart and I to come. My best friend at 24, for who I assume is currently my ex-best friend, was additionally going to be there. She and I went to a similar school. However, we're in various majors. She has been seeing someone, yet is what I call a chronic dater. Another person like clockwork or thereabouts. I never had any motivation to think anything was occurring among her and my sweetheart, as they were dependably agreeable and got along fine and dandy. We would eat takeout together at our lounge area table at whatever point she'd visit, and their discussion was in every case extremely superficial. The sort of relationship you would anticipate between a more seasoned sibling and more youthful sister. Furthermore, on the off chance that she'd remain the evening, she and I would rest together in my bed, and my bayou would take the sofa in the lounge room at his demand. Her and I graduated secondary school and school together. And keeping in mind that I haven't had as a very remarkable opportunity to hang with her starting as of late, she is right now in school for her Lords. Because of our bustling timetable, I never ever might have anticipated she would do this to me. So last Saturday, I let my beau know that I would attempt to come to our companion's party. However, he ought to go have a great time. At first, he yielded, saying he was fine remaining in, yet at long last surrendered and consented to go first. I wound up getting to leave my shift somewhat early, simply past 11 p.m. I had been messaging Jazz napping him over the course of the evening, and he quit answering a short while after 10. Once more, I had not an obvious explanation to be dubious or worried by any means. As I confided in this man totally and completely, I didn't really show up until a brief time after 12 p.m. at the lake house, and shockingly found many individuals were there. I couldn't get tightly to my beau or my best friend, which I figured was fine and credited it to her having allowed her telephone to bite the dust. In the wake of making a few inquiries, including the birthday kid, I was told to attempt one of the numerous higher-up rooms. He wasn't in any of the rooms. However, as I drew closer the ensuite of the expert, I heard groaning and what plainly seemed like two individuals fucking. I will always remember the manner in which time stopped as I opened that entryway, finding my view of 6 years covered somewhere inside my best friend. I was unable to track down it in me to really express anything at that time. I assume I was in shock or something like that. Solely after he saw me remaining there did I wake up from my fleeting shock and ran out of there. Both he and my best friend were totally bare, scrambling to get their garments back on, he guaranteeing it was a slip-up and that he was so grieved I could smell the bourbon on his breath. So he was obviously tipsy. I think they were both crying. I can't muster the energy to care. I was unable to try and truly see past a couple of feet before me. I attempted to inhale, particularly with the generally jam-packed air of the house. He had a go at taking hold of my arm to inspire me to pay attention to him, however, solely after yelling at him to not touch me. Did he let me go? At the point when I made it home, I quickly looked into latest possible moment administrations to get my locks changed, which were finished eventually the following evening. Both he and my best friend have been exploding my telephone with messages, calls, solicitations to FaceTime. I was unable to force myself to take a gander at any of the messages. I've quite recently been so numb to the world. My whole companion bunch has been messaging me as well. They can all get screwed as far as I might be concerned. He hasn't tried to come home in the past few days. He probably suspects that I need space after I so blatantly caught him balls deep in someone else. My best friend, I figure he may be remaining with her. I'm crushed. This feeling that I'm going through, I could never wish on anybody. He is the final part of my heart. I believed that I planned to wed this man. I saw everything with him. He was my future. Also, she was my dearest companion. Please accept my apologies for the novel-length post, yet obviously I expected to get a portion of this out. I don't know what to do straight away. I will not answer any of their texts. A piece of me has engaged the possibility of simply icing them out, complete cutoff with correspondence. Get a couple of my companions to move his poo out onto the control. We on the whole own this condo, so at last we might have to sort out what occurs with it. I'm simply so lost. Assuming anybody has gone through something almost identical like this, any inspirational statements would be so profoundly appreciated. I can't seem to get any of that from my life right now. I'm so fucking tired of crying, and yet every time I entertain images of that night, my traitorous eyes start up again.